What's holding you back doesn't have to.
Please welcome Red Hat President and Chief Executive Officer, Matt Hicks.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Red Hat Summit 2023. When I think of my career in technology, it often revolves around a few very discrete and powerful moments. Moments in which the potential of technology and the realization of it became visible. Actually, not just visible, but inevitable. I experienced the inevitability of open source the first time I compiled my own kernel. I experienced the potential of the internet working for a .com startup when we launched our first website. The power of distributed teams became a reality to me the first time I used Git. Edge became a reality to me when I wrote my first iPhone application. But these weren't just my moments. These were moments shared by millions around the world. Millions that saw the potential and acted on it. They established technology as we know it today. And we are in one of those moments right now. It's the moment of AI. AI has moved from the obscurity of academia to the ubiquity of ChatGPT. But it's also moved from the power of a few to the power of many. We are watching the impact and potential of open source that played out all those years ago with operating systems and programming languages, now playing out with AI. We're watching creativity on a global scale make its way into artificial intelligence through an open source revolution. It's the time to dream about the potential for your business, your industry, and to be the driver of change for the better. But as excited as I am to be here on this stage in this moment, I also deeply appreciate the realities that can get in the way of realizing that dream. The realities that jolt us awake, that hold us back, That is what we are going to focus this year's summit on, how to manage those realities. Because if we can manage the realities that we're living in today, the potential of AI gives us the license to dream. We know where we'll be investing our time saved. We know where we will be applying our creativity. Over the next 2 days, we're going to demonstrate how our approach and technology can help you manage your realities. Today, we're going to focus on the reality of needing to do more with less. These challenges won't be a surprise to you because you all are living them every day. We'll help you manage the pressure of making the most of what you have, while at the same time cultivating the skills you need, and the pressure of needing to find ways to deliver more faster. Then tomorrow, we're going to switch gears and show you what you can do with that efficiency and savings. We'll talk about how we can scale to the massive demand your business is facing while staying secure. We'll cover how you can leverage edge in a dynamic environment, and we will look to the future on how we can help you scale your sustainability efforts. Throughout Summit, you'll hear from us about a lot of new innovations. Today, we will be introducing a series of developer and operator-focused capabilities. We're launching the Red Hat Developer Hub based on the Backstage project. Our Developer Hub will allow you to build a world-class developer portal for your teams, guiding their choices to the best practices for your environment and making development faster and more efficient. Then, to help you develop applications that span the hybrid cloud, we will be demonstrating Red Hat Service Interconnect, letting you truly build hybrid applications without being a networking expert. And as development speeds up, we are amplifying operator skills with Ansible Lightspeed. Explain the task you want to perform, and Lightspeed will generate the playbook for you using domain-specific AI powered by IBM. We've always prided ourselves on Ansible's ability to automate hours worth of work down to mere minutes. With this, you can now get to that point in seconds, regardless of your skill set. We also appreciate the complexity of running operations and the need to automatically resolve the issues we know, so we are freed to work on the issues we don't yet understand. To enable this, we're introducing event-driven Ansible, which delivers always-on automation to standardized responses where we don't need a human to intervene. Combine this with Lightspeed, and you can transform your IT operations. Lastly, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about how we're also going to help you capture the potential in this moment of AI. Just like OpenShift has revolutionized what is possible with DevOps and moving code to production faster than ever, we will introduce the work we are doing in our OpenShift AI family of products. Our goal is for you to bring the efficiency of training, deploying, and refining AI models to operate hand in hand with your next generation applications. All of these announcements are built around the open hybrid cloud. Cloud isn't a new message. Everyone in the industry has been talking about it, and you've heard it from us for nearly a decade. So what makes Red Hat any different? It comes down to our approach. We are laser focused on enabling you to build an environment where you can deploy any application anywhere, from a laptop to the data center, or to the cloud, or to the edge. Whether deploying incremental changes to manage your realities today or revolutionary AI capabilities, we want to provide the platforms that get you there faster. Regardless of your starting point, our approach can help you accelerate on your unique journey with the specific needs of your industry. Let us share an example with you of a customer doing exactly that.
Please welcome Barclays Head of Cloud and Middleware for Group Technology Infrastructure Services, Tom Gilbert.
Hey everyone. It's great to be back in Boston for another exciting Red Hat Summit. I'm Tom Gilbert. I'm responsible for public clouds, private clouds, and middleware services for Barclays. Last time I was here was 2019. I was here as an Innovation Award winner. This year I wasn't even nominated, so it's very kind of Red Hat to let me back in for a pity keynote. So Barclays has been on a cloud journey for some time now, and we've been evolving towards a multi-cloud strategy since before the pandemic. COVID really magnified the need to be able to scale our digital channels quickly, use the right venues for the right workloads at the right levels of resilience. Our strategy is to focus on meaningful public cloud re-architecture, using differentiated services thoughtfully, while investing in private cloud as our engine room for rapid tech debt remediation and cloud readiness. In the last 3 years, we've built a modern private cloud and migrated or deployed over 90,000 virtual machines and 80,000 containers onto it. That's something we're really proud of. We've also added a second public cloud venue and re-engineered our edge connectivity to support true multi-cloud. Our partnership with Red Hat has been a long one across multiple products, including Linux, Ansible, OpenShift, middleware. And our joint focus now is about unlocking cloud economics on-premise and enabling mobility between private and public clouds. This enables and encourages behaviors like right-sizing, auto-scaling, and evergreen. These allow us to use economics to figure out the best hosting venue for our more straightforward IaaS workloads and consider other factors like data gravity, data sovereignty, and criticality. Through a combination of migration factories for our tech debt and the cloud economic benefits encouraging refactoring, we've been moving between 2 and 3% of our compute estate onto public and private cloud every month, and we now have 70% of our workloads on public or private cloud. In June last year, our US cards platform started a partnership with Gap, with 2,200 stores across North America. This doubled our US credit card base to 20 million customers and added $3.5 billion to our card portfolio during an industry-wide semiconductor crisis. Naturally, we had to significantly scale and innovate. Fortunately, the APIs that drive our Clouds platform are all containerized microservices running on our OpenShift container platform. So we were able to scale out to an additional 13,000 cores and to accommodate these volumes and do so quickly. We also included chaos engineering into our testing cycles to do so safely. It was a really smooth and successful launch. Our Barclays app, which is the main digital channel for Barclays UK retail customers, is actually hosted active-active across both public cloud, and Barclays venues. And we're able to control the balance of traffic anywhere up to 100% in either venue without customer impact. And now we do so regularly to test our resilience. Efficiency, both commercially and environmentally, is one of the big factors behind our workload placement principles. Our ESG commitments means we absolutely have to do more with less all the time. So as an example of this, our private cloud runs all of the workloads I mentioned on only 6,000 physical servers. And that's a significant direct emission reduction over traditional hosting, and has had a really positive impact on the utilization of our data centers. We've also started measuring and rating our platforms in a way you might be familiar with if you've bought a washing machine or a fridge freezer lately, with efficiency scores A through F. And next, we're looking to rate our applications based on their hosting venue, abstraction level, utilization, and so forth. Finally, on a personal note, open source has a really special place in my heart. And I can trace my career in technology back to a singular moment where I cut a coupon out of a computer magazine in, I think it was 1998, sent it off with a stamped addressed envelope, and received by return a copy of Red Hat Linux. Installed it, read the manual, taught myself to code, and just got sucked into the wonderful world of open source, and it's got me where I am today. So I'm absolutely delighted to see how much open source now powers the internet, the cloud, the enterprise, and our lives. So well done, everybody. Thanks to Matt and Red Hat for the partnership and letting me share the Barclays Cloud story, and a massive thank you to the open source community for being the reason I'm here. Have a fantastic conference. Cheers.
Please welcome Red Hat Chief Technology Officer and Senior Vice President of Global Engineering, Chris Wright.
All right. Doing more with less isn't new to CIOs. I'd say this phrase seems to have been attached to enterprise IT from inception. Good news, the consistent growth and adoption of open source software, commodity hardware, and cloud computing services have helped CIOs actually do more with less. The bad news, those same technologies have helped to solidify this idea as normalcy. We're all software companies now. This isn't even controversial or even new, it's a fact. And applications drive new revenue streams. So it's vital to bring differentiating applications to market as quickly and painlessly as you can. Developers will get the praise for these new profits, and rightfully so, but IT organizations are the unsung heroes in the background, keeping developer workflows rolling smoothly with the right tools, the validated environments, and on-demand services. And this helps developers focus on crafting beautiful code, not the plumbing underneath. Today, we often hear IT operations referred to as platform engineering. Why? Because it's all about the developer platform. It's not a new concept. Most large IT organizations maintain some kind of repository or curated library of developer tools, languages, and plugins for creating production applications. However, as IT resources grow ever more scant and demand for new applications just keeps growing, these platforms grow more daunting. And if these platforms aren't maintained at the speed of development, then CIOs can look forward to fragmentation, complexity, and worse, the use of unverified code that can find its way into production. Adding a net new platform to your operations all but guarantees a new learning curve, which just equates to hours lost in training that you really don't have. Research from 2022 found that 76% of organizations say the cognitive load is so high for developers that it is a source of angst and ultimately low productivity for them. The open source community delivered an initial answer to this platform problem, Backstage. Backstage provides the open source building blocks for creating an internal developer platform from software libraries to machine learning models to metadata. And we've taken the open innovation of Backstage further with a hardened and integrated internal development platform offering, Red Hat Developer Hub. Developer Hub adds support for key Red Hat developed plugins like Keycloak and Quay to drive a more consistent user experience without compromising on that application velocity. And the platform also includes validated templates. And these provide opinionated, pre-architected approaches to building and deploying software from creation to production. Developer Hub gives IT organizations a developer platform built on open source innovation with that stability, that support, that reliability that you've come to expect from our hybrid cloud technologies. Developer Hub also builds on skills that your IT organization already has through integration with Red Hat OpenShift. For teams already familiar with the scale and capabilities of OpenShift, Development Hub is just an extension to them. They already know how to manage it and can take what they know about internal developer workflows and build it into an application platform that they're already comfortable with. That's the best news. It's building on skills and technologies that you already have. And this maximizes what you know without having to sacrifice application innovation to maintain operations. Of course, applications don't exist in a vacuum. They need to talk to other supporting services, and this has always been a challenge. But it's grown more significant as distributed applications expand across the hybrid cloud. Developers need to be able to quickly connect containerized and cloud-native applications to one another. And they need to do so while maintaining appropriate security and compliance controls. Developers, however, aren't network engineers, at least most aren't. And this is why today we're announcing general availability of Red Hat Service Interconnect, built from the upstream Scupper.io project. Service Interconnect makes it so that your developers can build these connections across distributed applications while adhering to your organization's specific security and compliance controls from the earliest stages in the software development lifecycle. This effectively makes your applications, both traditional and Kubernetes-based applications, locationless, no matter where they exist. Public cloud, private cloud, data center out to the edge. Service Interconnect keeps your developers focused on innovation, but breaks down the silos between your critical applications and their services and dependencies. So if I can sum this up, Developer Hub helps your developers onboard and become effective faster. And Service Interconnect then helps those developers more easily connect their applications to other apps and services. However, you really can't talk about modern development without also discussing artificial intelligence and machine learning. You'll hear much more about our answers to building AI-based applications with Red Hat OpenShift AI later on. But for now, let's see how Developer Hub and OpenShift AI work together to fuel a smoother modern development experience. So please join me in welcoming two Red Hatters to the stage for a demo, Serena Cakeley and Erwan Granger.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning, everybody. I'm really excited to start giving you a preview of our Red Hat Developer Hub. If you're familiar with Backstage, think of it as our enterprise-grade version of it. It's self-managed, and it's also fully supported, not only on OpenShift, but on other versions of Kubernetes as well. I'm going to walk through some of my favorite parts about the Developer Hub. Here on my screen, you can see a single pane of glass. It's a customizable home page with access to all of the tooling a developer needs. You can look into the catalog, and you're able to see services and APIs, along with owners as well as resources. When I drill into one of these services, I'm able to see all the beauty of all of the plugins that are provided. Our Red Hat Developer Hub includes both community plugins as well as our Red Hat plugins for Backstage. Here I can see some examples. I'm able to see GitHub issues that are associated with a service, open PRs. I'm even able to see some of the information about the container image that was deployed for this service. And in doing so, this is our Quay plugin. If there happens to be a security vulnerability, I'm able to click in here and see the access of all the vulnerabilities as well. There's a dependency graph that allows you to see relationships, who owns the service, if there's subcomponents, provided APIs, as well as consumed APIs. Now let's not forget about tech docs. We all know how much developers love to write documentation, right? And this is a way for them to write documentation in Markdown, store it in Git, and have it shown in context inside of the hub, allowing for asynchronous collaboration between developers without even needing to know who to talk to. But let me get back to the point. Erwan and I were asked to create a prototype for today. So what we did was we prototyped a chatbot. I've already created the front end, and what I'm going to do is show you how our Golden Path templates can deploy that onto OpenShift for us. But first, a little bit more about Golden Path templates. These are a mechanism for platform engineers to provide self-service for their developers. So what I had used was this deploy with Tecton pipeline. I did it previously, so I'm going to jump into my catalog, look at the Hatbot UI, and then I'm going to jump over to the CI/CD tab. This is another one of our Red Hat plugins for Tecton, and I'm able to easily see the status of the tasks and the steps that are already run. So Erwan, it looks like my front end is up and running. So I know you're a data scientist. How about you whip up a quick model for us and connect it?
Yeah, sure thing, Serena. Whip up a model, that's exactly what data scientists call it. How much time do I have for that?
We got about 60 seconds.
Okay, so we have very detailed requirements, very realistic deadlines. Sounds like a great project, nothing can go wrong.
No pressure.
So more realistically, training a model, that can take days, even using GPUs. So I think I'm not going to be doing that on stage. Instead, I'm going to use my remaining 45 seconds, I guess, to give you a quick overview of what the data science experience is like. Now, I'm going to start from our single pane of glass here, Developer Hub, but I'm a data scientist. So I'm going to scroll down to my OpenShift AI tools, and right here I have a link to my tool of choice for data science, OpenShift Data Science. So if I click on here, I'm going to jump directly into a data science project. Here you can see that I have a couple workbenches. One of them is currently running. That's the model training and validation one. So I'll click on that one. And so what you see here is kind of the typical data science pipeline with, gather the data, clean the data, complain about having to train the model. Then you're going to have a number of checks and balances to make sure the model performs in the way you'd expect. And assuming that's the case, well, you really want that model to be served. It's not useful until it is being served. So that, too, we're going to be doing here with OpenShift Data Science. If I scroll down to the bottom here, you're going to see my models and model servers. And I have apparently two deployed models. Actually, it's just two versions of the same model. All right, so all of this, obviously in 45 seconds, is a very brief overview of what a data scientist does. One thing I haven't shown at any point was YAML. That is by design. There isn't any YAML here. I'm using OpenShift Data Science, but I don't really need to know that much about OpenShift. I can just focus on the data science. The fact that it's all happening on OpenShift is completely transparent to me as a data scientist. All right, so Serena, if your front end is running and my model is deployed, then theoretically the app should work, right?
Definitely. Let's have you drive and see if we can get it running.
Oh, I have to drive. I'm just a data scientist. This is scope creep, right? Okay,
yeah,
fine.
But the Developer Hub is so easy. I think you can do it. Let me help you.
Let's see.
Go into the catalog.
Yep.
And you should be able to see the Hatbot UI there.
Got it.
And why don't you go into the Topology tab? That's another one of our plugins. and you should see a hyperlink there.
Yep.
And if you click on that, you should get our new UI.
Oh, well, kudos to you. The front end at least seems to be working.
Yeah.
Let's just say hello and see if the model works. Let's submit that, and oh, it does work. Actually, it works a bit too well. Serena, the bot has a question for you. That's kind of a twist.
Looks like I forgot a couple of things. So first of all, I just want everybody to remember that the Red Hat Developer Hub is the hub for all your developer needs. And we are going to be dev preview at the end of June. Stay tuned for our roadmap and look at some of our sessions, and you'll learn more. Thanks, everybody, for your time.
Thank you.
Please welcome Red Hat Senior Vice President and Chief Product Officer, Ashesh Badani.
With the developer platform in place, you're enabling the next iteration of application innovation, bringing user capabilities online and opening up new markets to your business. But you're also adding something else, complexity. More applications, systems, data, connections, and users mean greater complexity in an IT environment. The problem is, the simpler we make something for end users, the greater complexity it often incurs on the back end. Think of what's required to enable AI chatbots, real-time package tracking, or augmented reality from delivery teams. And we're only taking into account how complex the systems are to operate in a stable environment. But as we know, environments are not always stable in production. The unexpected is going to happen. And when it comes to enterprise IT planning, events like power outages, third-party downtime, surges in demand, and hardware failures aren't ifs, but whens. Traditionally, IT organizations have had to manually correlate all of these event streams, from networking monitoring tools, hardware sensors, observability dashboards, and more, into something that is human-readable and actionable. Ideally, you're able to predictably act on a set of events that happen. An outage occurs, and that triggers a set of remediation activities and automated responses. Imagine being a digital retailer on Black Friday. Demand for a new gadget is causing unprecedented traffic, and it's overloaded a component of your e-commerce system. One of your many event stream monitors picks this up, but it's not an obvious outage at first. What makes it obvious is when the angry end user comments and support tickets start to pour in. You've been there. The complexities of modern IT systems mean that you need a way to consistently and more quickly respond to these events as they happen. Complexities in enterprise IT can be handled consistently via automation. And the gold standard for enterprise IT automation is Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform, based on the massively popular open source project Ansible. Ansible isn't just for automating basic workflows, though. It brings automation to nearly every category of IT systems. Networking, security, patches, and more can all be automated through the single point of truth that is Ansible automation. Now, we are extending the power of Ansible to encompass the sudden changes that impact your production environments with event-driven Ansible. Let's see this in action. I'm really excited to welcome to the stage Emily Bach and Colin McNaughton.
Thank you so much, Ashesh, and that is exactly what we're here to do today. Colin and I are going to walk through a real-life example of what event-driven Ansible can look like in your real life with a little bit of help from our partner ecosystem. So let's say I am Emily, queen of observability for our fictional company, and I live here in our Dynatrace dashboard watching for issues in our application stack. But when one comes up, I need someone to actually then fix the problem, usually through automation, but I need to get it to that person that can fix it. So usually I'll call up my friend Colin, often late at night when these issues pop up, and ask you, Colin, what magic can you do for me today?
What magic? None. I'm kidding. So when I do find a problem, I usually have it automated to run that remediation once I recognize the symptoms of the problem that we're faced with. Now, in this case, if Emily is queen of observability, I might be something like Postmaster General or something for Ansible Automation Platform. And what this means is that we can use event-driven Ansible to act as that bridge between observability and automation, right? So we can ship those events or problems from observability over to automation controller and automate the remediation of that issue.
And that's overnight, too.
Oh, yes, it is, if it's properly marked. So let's go ahead and simulate a little problem here within our environment. So you can kind of already see we have some past issues with this environment. And as I refresh, we should see a new one pop up. Now, the way I have this configured, we are using Ansible and event-driven Ansible to stand in the middle. I'm running a rule book, which is constantly waiting for these new events to come in and waiting for the conditions to act. So when I see a brand new problem coming in from Dynatrace, this is received by event-driven Ansible and forwarded over to automation controller. Now, Automation Controller inherits that payload from that problem. So I'm able to redirect that payload to a remediation job template. Now, what's really cool about that is the remediation understands exactly the conditions for which we need to act. Now, one thing I want to do here is open a brand new ServiceNow incident so that when this occurs, not only are we remediating it, but we're also documenting every time this occurs so we can get to the root cause of the issue. Now, if I go over to ServiceNow, I don't have an incident yet, but I have everything triggered through Automation Controller. We can see that it looks like we do have an incident that has been opened here, and it looks like it went and remediated our storage issue. When I go over to ServiceNow, I can see all of our incidents that have been created from our past run-ins with this particular problem. And I also see the problem ID here. So we did inherit that event data coming from Dynatrace through event-driven Ansible and through to Automation Controller. So that when I go back to my problems dashboard, excuse me, I'm sorry, I closed out your problems dashboard.
Uh-oh. How will I know there's an issue?
I know.
There we go.
There. Gray is green in this environment, so it looks like we were able to eliminate our problem, though we still see it documented here.
Gray is gorgeous, and that's what I like to see. Not only, so you're saying that it didn't just solve my problem, but it did my paperwork for me, too?
Oh, yes. I like the transition to now we're a couple of beat cops with a stack of paperwork on our desk. But
Here's
yeah.
my coffee.
That's exactly what it did. And in this case, this event source today was Dynatrace, but this could also be a host of other observability platforms. Is that right?
Absolutely. If you've got IBM Instana as your observability platform instead, we've got you covered. We've actually got 9 of our partners already working on event-driven Ansible content for certification and validation, which is kind of incredible, actually. It's really cool to see. So if people have questions, where can they go?
Oh, that's a great question, Emily. So we have a whole host of sessions on event-driven Ansible today and some hands-on labs to get you more familiar with creating rulebooks and reacting to these events.
Well, that's amazing. And if you want to see more examples, CyberArk, F5, IBM Turbonomic, even Cisco, a lot of them are here today, and a lot of them have cool demos of their own.
Yeah.
All right. I think that wraps it up for us. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Nice.
Event-driven Ansible consumes all of the event streams from your disparate monitoring and alerts tool and centralizes them through the Ansible platform. It enables your IT team to set rules for how the platform should respond to certain events, like e-commerce failure, the one that I mentioned earlier. When certain events occur or specific conditions are met, event-driven Ansible kicks off an automated workflow to start remediation. This could be something as simple as resetting a password or triaging a service ticket to more complex tasks like executing a backup process or adjusting compute and storage resources. Event-driven Ansible helps free up the time of your IT team, not only in responding to the events, but in actually sifting what matters out of the countless alerts they receive on a daily, if not hourly basis. More than that, however, event-driven Ansible brings consistency across an organization. No matter which department or office experiences the event, Ansible acts the same, based on the criteria and process set by your IT team. It bridges potential skill gaps between not only members of your IT organization, but across the entire business. It's always on and provides an intelligent first line of mitigation for the unexpected. With the latest version of Ansible Automation Platform, you will have access to event-driven Ansible when it's generally available next month. This is the value of a Red Hat subscription. Innovation isn't tied to a specific platform or product version. It's delivered across everything we do. You'll hear much more about event-driven Ansible during the upcoming Ansible Fest sessions. But now, let's hear from Spanish insurance company Mutua Madrileña and Yamandu about how they're using event-driven Ansible.
Please welcome Mutua Madrileña middleware automation lead, Yamandu Telechea.
Thank you very much, ACES and Red Hat, for inviting us to Red Hat Summit 2023. It is a pleasure to be here today, sharing our experience with event-driven Ansible, as known as EDA. Mutua Madrileña was founded in 1930 in Spain, covering the insurance market with different businesses and services from the beginning. And currently, we also operate in South America. It is great to be in a company with this wide experience and deep knowledge, but this also means we have a more complex environment due to the mergers and acquisitions and our own legacy technology. As you can imagine, automation is a key principle for us to help us move forward faster and be competitive in the market. Before I dive into event-driven Ansible, let me give you a brief background of our journey with Ansible Automation Platform. Mutua Madrileña became the first Ansible Automation Platform customer in Spain back in 2016. And since then, we have been growing alongside the platform's evolution. Currently, we are using Ansible Automation Platform 2.3 as served our brain of our automation processes for over 60 products that we manage. Ansible Automation Platform, together with EDA, bring us to the question. Have you ever experienced problems caused by manual tasks, dissatisfaction from application downtime, or human intervention? If so, EDA might be the solution for you. Now, let me highlight the main benefits we have seen at Mutua Madrileña. First, better efficiency. EDA quickly responds to real-time events, allowing for faster decisions, making our operations more agile. We have experienced a 50% reduction in support tickets. 50% reduction. Second, clear cost reduction. EDA has simplified our processes and reduced manual work and operational costs. And let's be honest, who doesn't like cost reduction? I am sure our CEOs are very excited right now. Third, improved customer satisfaction. EDA has given our users a smoother, more reliable experience leading to happier customers. Next, I would like to share 3 use cases of EDA at Mutua Madrileña. First, application self-healing. EDA has enabled us to detect anomalies using Dynatrace and remedy them using Ansible Automation Platform, reducing downtime and improving system stability. Second, integration for system log management. In this specific use case, Prometheus is responsible for monitoring, while its alert manager triggers the job template to execute a log management automation. This process efficiently retrieves and releases logs from servers. Third, resource management in OpenShift. By monitoring OpenShift, we are able to detect errors caused by insufficient quota. On detection, a workflow is activated that gets validated with our infrastructure team and triggers an automated process to increase quota as needed. Now, you might be wondering, how can we implement EDA? Well, here are the keys to successfully implementing EDA. First, automation as a must. At Mutua Madrileña, we made automation an essential part of each project roadmap. This mindset has helped us to focus on efficiency, scalability, and growth, improving our operations. Second, GitOps philosophy. Embracing Git as a single source of truth for managing product configuration and application deployments. Promoting consistency and reliability across environments. Third, observability. We implemented monitoring practices to better understand our systems and applications. This has helped us make data-driven decisions for improvement. Now, what is our vision for the future of automation? We plan to maximize the potential of EDA by integrating it with all our systems. Second, we aim to carry out a zero-tickets project that provides maximum autonomy to our teams through a self-service portal we have already developed. In conclusion, event-driven Ansible has brought remarkable benefits to Mutua Madrileña, including improved efficiency, better customer satisfaction, and cost savings. For those interested in learning more about event-driven Ansible, please join to the session we'll be hosting tomorrow with my manager, Marta Ceciliano. This session will provide valuable insights and practical examples guide you through the implementation process. I hope our success at Mutua Madrileña inspires you to explore event-driven Ansible for your own operations. I am confident that with the right approach, you will experience similar benefits. Thank you.
Please welcome back to the stage Ashesh Badani.
The COVID-19 pandemic stressed our IT systems in ways not seen or felt before. The software industry and corporate IT departments showed they could do some amazing innovative things, delivering brand new business capabilities faster than ever thought possible, enabling every single employee to become a mobile worker, for instance, or in some cases, even moving key operations to the cloud over just one weekend. The day-to-day pace that came along with doing more with less has been really hard to sustain. Burnout is real. So while doing more with less has been a morale-lifting cry for so many IT groups during the last 3 years as a standard operating procedure, it has needed some serious attention and fixing. Chris is now going to share with you how we see AI helping to ease that stress. Please welcome back our CTO and my friend, Chris Wright.
Thanks, Ashesh. So AI is a natural progression from what we just talked about, automation. Automation can only take you so far. I'd say AI can take it to the next level. So Ashesh, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear AI these days?
Let me think about it. Well, that's an easy one. Everyone's talking about ChatGPT. But I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by the power of AI in a positive way and how it can help enterprises enhance existing products or even create new ones. Or it's entirely possible I got it all wrong and it's the end of the world as we know it.
All right. I'll give you all of the above as an acceptable answer. I think we'll focus on what we can do for the enterprise bit here.
I agree, Chris. And I'm sure our audience is really keen to hear what you have to say about unleashing the power of AI ML technologies to drive future innovation. I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you. Did you know that IDC predicts that by 2027, AI-enabled automation will reduce the need for manual intervention and improve service-level objectives around performance, cost, and security by 70%? To us, AI is a fundamental piece of the open hybrid cloud. We want your cloud-native infrastructure to be able to embrace AI so that your teams can tackle higher level and more valuable items on the to-do list. Whether it's a chatbot, an intelligent search function, or even a triage-style ticketing system, nearly every organization is at least exploring how AI/ML can play a role in their business. AI-powered applications, however, don't have the same requirements as traditional apps or cloud-native apps. These capabilities need to be trained, tuned, tested, all of which have extensive compute and infrastructure demands. For most organizations, this means that existing data center investments likely won't have enough processing capacity, storage, or both. This makes cloud services more appealing when it comes to bringing AI capabilities to bear. But this adds a different set of challenges. Do you have the skills in-house to run training algorithms on a cloud service? How will your developers be able to consume the resulting AI capabilities? Do you really want to maintain two separate infrastructure platforms, one for AI and one for the rest? Again, you want to maximize your existing skills and drive operational consistency, which can seem like tall tasks given the rigors and requirements of AI/ML. This is why we launched Red Hat OpenShift AI, first as a cloud service, and more recently as a self-managed on-premises solution. OpenShift AI enables your operations teams to manage your AI/ML infrastructure on the same foundation that they already use for cloud-native operations, Red Hat OpenShift. This gives your data scientists and AI/ML developers the scale, the flexibility, and power necessary to bring those next generation of intelligent applications to life. We love working with new OpenShift AI customers like Atruvia, who are looking for an open AI/ML foundation to serve their community of users and accelerate putting models into production. Atruvia delivers a broad range of AI services to financial institutions globally. And to be able to support the ever-growing demands of their customers for AI services, Atruvia was looking to standardize on a data science foundation that ties in with their current architectural and organizational shift towards a modern data architecture. Atruvia will be moving forward with OpenShift AI as the core of its data science platform because it provides the extensibility and is based on enterprise open source. By tapping into the MLOps capabilities of OpenShift AI, Atruvia is realizing greater scalability, a reduced time to develop solutions, and then increased collaboration across their data science, application developer, and DevOps teams throughout the delivery of new AI solutions. You can expect to hear much more from us on OpenShift AI moving forward. Okay, so we all know that ChatGPT has garnered a lot of attention worldwide. But here's what we asked ourselves. What could you do if you got really specific with AI? Instead of a general purpose solution like ChatGPT, what if we trained a solution on the specific code that has been known to address problems and has been tested to work repeatedly and securely? We naturally looked to the Ansible community first and how we could deliver focused, domain-specific AI solutions to IT automation. I am stoked to introduce Ansible Lightspeed to all of you, which will be available next month as a public preview. And unlike other AI-driven coding tools, Ansible Lightspeed does not focus on application development. Instead, it centers on addressing the rise of complexity in enterprise IT as hybrid cloud adoption grows. Our goal is to bridge the gap between Ansible YAML and human language so users can use their natural language, for me, that's English, to generate syntactically correct and functional automation playbooks. Ansible Lightspeed is the interface between users and IBM Watson Code Assistant, a cloud service AI model that fuels the ability to turn natural language into an Ansible playbook. IBM's expertise in generative and domain-specific AI is significant, so leaving it to the experts to maintain, tune, and refine both the service and the model powering it. Simple, specific, smart. And Ansible Lightspeed lowers the barrier of entry to conducting low-level IT tasks and helps resource-needy IT teams. The opportunities with AI are right in front of us. And by focusing on very model-specific training, we can improve productivity across the board in Red Hat's portfolio and out into more areas of IT. So not just AI for Ansible, but AI that's specifically tuned for, say, OpenShift, which we're working on right now. With IBM behind the models, we can focus on delivering the experience that you need while infusing specific, transparent AI capabilities into all of our platforms. OK, enough talking about it. Let's welcome to the stage Red Hat's Katie Piccarelli and Chris Morgan to show us more.
Thanks, Chris. Man, this is a great crowd. Look at this. So Katie and I are super thrilled to be here today to be the first people to show you Red Hat Lightspeed in action with Watson Code Assistant. Now, I'm going to kick things off by sharing an engineering build of OpenShift where I'm going to demonstrate YAML creation with natural language. So what you should see here in front of you is I have a query box with OpenShift and Lightspeed integrated. Now, if you'll notice the assistant, I'm using natural language to deploy an application. I'm picking the latest image, adding some storage, a port, several replicas, things of that nature. Now, while this may seem like a very simple autocomplete, I want you to understand what's actually happening here, right? Lightspeed has to understand hundreds of custom resources and operators, and it has to understand it in context of my actual cluster. And so when we get this result, it's really cool. And now, even if you're a seasoned OpenShift admin and you can do this on the command line or know what to do inside of the console, this is going to make you more productive. So, and this is just a taste of the things that we're doing with Ansible, with OpenShift and Lightspeed, because Ansible, and Katie's here to show us, has stuff that's even cooler. Katie, what do you have for them?
Thanks, Chris. Today, I'm excited to share more about Ansible Lightspeed with Watson Code Assistant and how we see it giving an all access to automation using AI superpowers. As you heard earlier, Matt announced the forthcoming preview of what I'm about to show you today. This will initially be made available via the Ansible Visual Studio Code extension, and I have it installed here in my environment. What you see is an Ansible playbook that we're going to use to provision a cloud instance. I have used a natural language prompt in the task name, and it's as simple as pressing Enter, and the code recommendation comes from Watson Code Assistant, which is a foundation model. It is just like what you saw when Chris Wright was speaking earlier. Our goal is to bridge the gap between taking automation ideas defined in simple English and transforming them into tangible results. So we can accept this result with a simple tab. Chris, maybe there's a way we could see that this is a good result?
Well, I mean, it's obviously based on how the model is trained, right? And what I love about this is Red Hat, we're bringing the same concepts of open source into the AI space. We've done this a quarter century, and we really love making sure you guys know where things came from, obviously. And the same is happening in AI, so this is awesome.
You're absolutely right. Red Hat is committed to transparency, collaboration, and choice. And we want to foster relationships between contributors and users. Wherever possible, we will content match the code recommendation to the potential source, its author, and the content license of the training data that is used for this recommendation. You can also see here that this training matches come from this demo repo, a community repo, and even a certified content collection.
And I actually think this is very important. Again, going back to understanding where your training data comes from is what makes this enterprise ready versus just taking anything from everywhere. And so it's really important. So what's next?
Yeah, well, now I have my playbook, and I would like to use it. So.
Well, I'm sure they would like to see you use it. So let's see what happens.
All right. So let's provision the cloud resources in Ansible Automation Platform, using the automation controller and using the playbook that we just generated. We will run this workflow, and it performs two different tasks. We're going to pull that playbook from the source code repository and deploy our cloud resources.
So if you're unfamiliar with Ansible or OpenShift, right, these solutions are going to bridge the gap. And everyone can learn more later today at the Ansible Fest keynote, and then there's tons of breakouts and labs, and you'll have a lot of time. Hey, it looks like it's finished. Did it actually work though?
Well, let's check it out and see here. We can refresh and see, and hopefully we can see that our instance is available here, and it did actually work. Ansible Lightspeed with Watson Code Assistant is purpose-built to make it easier to develop Ansible automation.
I mean, this is just amazing. I hope all of you guys enjoyed what we showed you here today. We certainly enjoyed showing you, and have a great rest of your week. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Please welcome Red Hat Senior Vice President of Partner Ecosystem Success, Stephanie Chiris.
Yes Bank is working with Microsoft and Red Hat to build out a completely new mobile banking app in the public cloud. Let's hear more from Mahesh Ramamurthy, CIO of Yes Bank.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to me to be able to present on the stage. It's a privilege for me to be here to talk about this partnership and what it means to Yes Bank on its digital journey. To start with, Yes Bank, one of the leading private sector banks in India, over the past nearly 2 decades, has been powering the digital transaction ecosystem, and pretty aggressively. We cover about 1 of 3 digital transactions in the country passes through our payment rails. And more importantly, we are one of the leading providers of digital enablement for payment transactions across a vast majority of our merchant base here in India. Having said that, today, Yes Bank is on its journey to pivot and become granular retail. And as we go into the granular retail, what's important is to make sure that we have the right digital experience, the right enablement for a customer, and more importantly, make sure that we are enabled to drive scale. And that is why we're really looking at a major transformation. This transformation, to enable us power this, we've been looking out for partners, and we've narrowed down on Microsoft and Red Hat, using its combination of Microsoft Azure and Red Hat OpenShift to enable us power this. To start with, we've now, over the past 12 months, come together and built a fantastic cloud-native scalable platform which powers our next-generation mobile banking. This mobile banking not just covers our onboarding journey, it also covers our servicing journey, and more importantly, is going to expand its footprint across the entire customer base, spreading across retail, corporate, and the entire SME population. That's a great story because it's going to scale up to a multitude of millions of customers, and it's going to be rapidly enabling us to scale our transactions on this mobile banking platform. This partnership over the past year has really matured. We've understood each other pretty well, and now there is a strategy which essentially we are now going towards an execution plan to not just look at mobile banking, but also to expand our Red Hat OpenShift and Microsoft coverage to platforms like our enterprise in-house CRM, looking at various other internal applications that's going to enable a lot of productivity and efficiencies. Clearly, the opportunity exists for both to get into the next level of capabilities, next generation of digital experience, and look forward to an enriching partnership that both organizations can leverage on its scale worldwide. Thank you. Look forward.
Please welcome back to the stage Red Hat's Stephanie Chiris with Microsoft Corporate Vice President of Azure Cloud Native, Jeremy Winter.
Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us here at Red Hat Summit. We're so excited to have you here. And that Yes Bank video was quite an introduction to lay sort of the view of our partnership together. And could you start out by talking a little bit, I mean, we've had such a long relationship between Microsoft and Red Hat. Talk a little bit about the foundation of that partnership and how it's evolved as the market has.
Yeah, thanks, Stephanie, for having me here. It's just an absolute pleasure to be here. Look, you know, it's just fantastic to see the customer collaboration that we've done and the value that we've brought to the customers just over the last few years, right? And it's just exciting to see these joint solutions we've been working on really gaining momentum. Now, most of this momentum is really the combination of, as you're hearing earlier throughout the show, cloud is now being that strategic bet. And the other key piece of the combination is our shared relationship just with all the enterprise customers. Our long-standing track record of being there as a partner for our enterprise customers is really what I think is the foundation of just this 8+ year collaboration we've been doing. And I just think it's amazing to really just see Azure and Microsoft and Red Hat just really connected here.
And really over those past 8 years, Microsoft has really doubled down on open source and Linux, and really leveraging Azure as that route to the enterprise customers to make it easy to procure, easy to use.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really just demonstrated by the growth we've seen in the use of RHEL on Azure. And as I mentioned, the organizations have shifted to this cloud-first approach, and it really simplifies the overhead, enables that faster innovation that we're really seeing across all the different teams to just improve that bottom line.
And the teams have really worked together to expand, building upon that initial RHEL relationship, but then into having the Red Hat portfolio be available on Azure, into things like JBoss and Ansible and OpenShift, and a fully managed Azure Red Hat OpenShift service. We've really simplified as well things like procurement, so you can procure those as one single billing relationship with Azure. And it's really about bringing the efficiency of all of the different ways to deploy on Azure, combined with the consistency of the Red Hat platforms, really working together to help customers do more with less, both today and then what you want to deploy going forward in the future. But getting there is part of the journey as well. So how are you seeing customers do migration?
Yeah, this is just where we see a ton of energy with customers right now. You know, as they are seeing the advantage of shifting and lifting and shifting those existing workloads to cloud platforms like Azure. And with the Azure hybrid benefits, you can use your existing RHEL licenses, and you don't have to purchase new ones when you come to Azure for use there. You know, and as part of the Azure, this larger Azure migration program, we've experienced you have a ton of experienced Red Hat certified partners to really help you shift to the cloud. And you also will really be able to take advantage of many of these joint sale offers we have between both Microsoft and Red Hat. Now, once you're in Azure, the key here is also you get access to some of the most up-to-date offerings from Red Hat, and we jointly engineer those together.
A lot of our focus in working together is focused on mission-critical workloads, enterprise customers, and we do it for customers. So do you have a couple of examples you want to talk about, Jeremy?
Yeah, you know, when I first think of one that stands out is we have a customer like Munich Re, which is a large insurance company out of Germany. And you know, what they've done is transition hundreds of their business-critical applications. An example here is SAP HANA on RHEL. And what they've done is really just improve their overall business continuity. Now, we hear a bit about this more for, using more and less, but it's from the migration, Munich Re was able to support these new projects with time saved that they, really from reducing provisioning times from months to hours and the flexibility to scale up and down when they need it.
So much confidence is needed when you take on some of those really mission-critical workloads. You start a transformation. But could you talk an example a little bit about one that includes the Azure Red Hat OpenShift offering, the managed service?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this one, it's just a really unique offer. What I like about it, it's highly available, and it's fully managed OpenShift clusters that are really operated by us jointly, Microsoft and Red Hat. And as you hear with Arrow, it just provides this complete application platform for the integrated OpenShift, and it's integrated in as well with Azure with its development and management tools, which really empowers you and your teams to more quickly build and deploy applications. And as you saw in the S video that we just had, one thing that really just stood out for me here is it just really, by using Arrow, it really helps their teams respond to changes just incredibly quickly. So I just think there's a ton for us to continue to go do.
Absolutely. And we do all of this on behalf of customers. So maybe we should hear from one. Thank you so much for the discussion, Jeremy.
Yep.
Please welcome Amadeus Head of Infrastructure and Cloud Services, Eduard Hubin.
Edward, thank you so much for joining us, Jeremy and I, out here at Summit. We're thrilled to have you.
Thanks for having me, yes.
Now, Amadeus, they deliver services to the travel industry all over the world. Could you talk a little bit, Edward, about how OpenShift and then the joint work that Red Hat and Microsoft have done together, how that sort of helped you transform?
Sure, I can do that. First, let me maybe introduce a bit Amadeus to explain what we do, just giving a very quick example. As all of you guys flew here, I guess you have been beeping a boarding pass somewhere on the gate reader. And as you did that, you are hitting one of our servers, most likely, as we power most airline systems worldwide. And then we give you the green light to board the plane. So thanks for contributing to our business. Thank you very much. And just this being said, yes, back to your question. I think, the industry was hit super hard during the pandemic. And we decided to take advantage of the business being idle to go on a bold transformation and move our operations and transform everything by moving on the public cloud. So we decided to go with actually Microsoft Azure, and I guess that's why we are standing here, right? And in this transformation, we had been early adopters of OpenShift, like back in 2015. So we need to put all our applications on OpenShift on top of Azure, and that's where the collaboration really started between the three companies. Yeah.
Now, and I think it's great to just see this partnership with us working together on that. Where are you headed next? Where are you thinking your innovations are headed next?
Yeah, lots of things happening in this project, obviously. Maybe one I want to single out is, we have this big application. Every time you search on the internet for a flight, you hit our system at the back. And this generates massive amount of traffic, tens of thousands of transactions per second. So we really need to get that application cost under control. And to do that, we decided to actually leverage the latest Microsoft Azure products with ARM CPUs, with the Ampere CPUs on Azure, and deploy our shopping application on top of this infrastructure. And to make that happen, some of the applications, so the main application was on ARM, but some components had to remain on x86 because we couldn't migrate everything in the short time frame. So that's where Red Hat actually helped and implemented the capability to deploy hybrid workloads on OpenShift. And then we are currently piloting that and trying to get live in production towards the end of the year. So yeah, that's an example of where the technology collaboration really important for us to get these savings and do more with less servers, basically.
And that's one of the things we work together to try and do that work. So it gives you the flexibility, even across things like architectures that allows you to do things. I really want to thank you both. Honestly, Edward, thank you for sharing the story about Amadeus. Jeremy, thank you for the continued partnership.
Anytime.
This is innovation that matters in the marketplace for all of us who scan boarding passes quite a lot. So we appreciate the work that you do. Thank you.
Thanks.
Please welcome back to the stage, Matt Hicks.
If there's one thread to remember from today, it's that doing more with less doesn't have to be a constraint. It's a reality to manage today to unlock your innovation in this unique moment. Red Hat, along with our partners like Microsoft that you just heard, are ready to help you see past the challenge and see the opportunity. The new offerings you heard about today, Red Hat Developer Hub, Red Hat Service Interconnect, Ansible Lightspeed, Event-Driven Ansible, and OpenShift AI are all tailored to help not just face, but thrive in these realities. Tomorrow, you'll hear more from Ashesh, Stephanie, and Chris, along with Red Hat's Frances Chow, on how Red Hat, along with AWS, ABB, ETOS, Intel, and more, are fueling the ability to scale and innovate. And of course, You'll hear more about new technology innovation in this area from us as well. Today, you manage your realities. Tomorrow, you'll thrive in them.